Alright guys, I'm doing this in conjunction with replacing the clutch for the IS, so that's why I'm kind of ahead here. I took out the exhaust, the drive shaft, and then you've got just the diff just chilling right here. Now I did start, just want to make sure that I could take out the axle bolts. I know that side there's a couple stripped ones, so that's going to be fun to get to, but these are 8mm hex, and I'm using a nice little breaker bar, and sadly I couldn't find any 1/2-inch drives. That'd be the best, but a 3/8 with a little adapter has been working so far. So pretty much just take your time with these. You don't want to strip, so what I do is I typically, let me see if I can find, I typically tap the hex drive into it all the way as flush as possible. Make sure you get that right and it should be okay. So tap the hex drive in as far as it can go, then use the breaker bar to break them loose. I'm still trying to figure out how to get the axle out of the stub. We also got to use the new stuff for the BRZ LSD BRZ diff, but we'll see. And then you've got this bolt here, and then kind of a pain to get to, but those bolts over there for the diff bushings. I'm hoping I can get those out no problem, as well as putting the new diff bushings as well. So cool, let's get to it. All right, update. I'm gonna have to pull the whole rear, not the subframe, but the axles with the diff. Yeah, the last one, let me see here. That thing is just screwed, dude. Nope, not even gonna screw with it. I tried vice grips, nothing. So just, I know I'm gonna have to do it. So I'm gonna pull the freaking whole thing out. So I took the axle nuts out, and hopefully I can get those free, so when I lower it I could just pull the whole thing out. And then I'm gonna take it to a buddy's to weld something to the strip nut, take that off, get the ears off, put the ears on the new one, and then get the LSD diff in. So a little snag, but it is what it is. Stuff happens. So obviously there's no space for freaking ratchet there, so basically I used a 12mm to surround the 12mm hex, and then I used another one in conjunction like this, and then just got it out. So do that with both and it should come out. Okay, so while the diff's out, I figured why not replace these bushings. I'm pretty sure they're probably original. They're very soft. They it's kind of hard to see on the other side, but they're kind of torn up a little bit. They're still usable, but I'm like, I might as well. It'll go along well with the BRZ diff. So I have a pair of excessive bushings. I'll show you in a minute, and we'll try and get these in. So right now I soaked them with PB Blast just to see if we can get them kind of lubed up, ready to go. It looks to me like they push out towards the back, which is cool. We can bang it in. But the problem is, I guess, getting the new ones in, it might be a little tricky because there's obviously no room to bang it. Easiest way is obviously probably to have the subframe out, but I really am not trying to do all that seriously. I think what I'm going to do is I'm going to try and, maybe if it doesn't just bang out, I'm going to try and collapse it from here. Just make sure you don't screw up the outside of it. But if you bang here and kind of help collapse it, that should help. It's kind of like a metal seal. Once you collapse it, it should be easy to bang out. So we'll see if that works. Yeah, let's get to it. All right guys, still trying to get this bushing out here. Barely started on this one. Turns out that thing literally just ripped out, so definitely was overdue for that. Trying to use this air hammer, electric one. Just helps oscillate in and out to kind of help push itself in. I'm trying to collapse it on itself, but it's being really stubborn. I'm really trying not to damage the housing. It's a very, very bad idea to do that, because you're gonna have to replace the whole subframe if the bushing won't fit in properly, the new one. So go nice and slow, take your time, and hope that'll be nice to you. But I'm going real slow, try not to damage anything. So yeah, we'll keep going. All right guys, that was a pain, but I got one out. Just kept hitting the edge with the air hammer. This is the aftermath. It's pretty rough, actually. I'll be honest with you. I was thinking it would keep cutting, but so far, or at least to this point, it did okay. So yeah, got it. Minimal damage to the housing, a little bit here. I'm just gonna follow that down a little bit and we should be good to go. I will say this side is being a pain. It seems to be stronger metal. It's not bending. It just keeps cutting. It might be the same, but yeah, like I said, this side's a lot. I don't know if it's in better shape. That's why it's being a pain, but yeah, just got to keep doing it, soaking it, and then keep slowly air hammering it. As you can see, I kind of damaged the outside, but nothing's bent or anything. It's just some paint, so no big deal there. Might just throw a little bit of spray paint later, but yeah, that was a royal pain, but got both out. The left one, or I guess the passenger side one, was in great shape actually, and it was the most pain to get out. But pretty much once you start kind of bending it in, I soaked it more with PB Blast so that I could kind of get around to where, you know, to go anywhere that there's space, and just kept going at it, and eventually the air hammer was doing its thing and backed this out. So that's dope. Let me show you guys the new ones. These are the new ones made by Excessive here. I'm not sure what material they're made out of, but they look pretty good. Gotta make sure that they fit. I'm gonna try and clean up the surface though real quick. But yeah, doesn't look too bad for the SXE10. It was under the IS300 tab, so I'm pretty sure it's the same. Passenger side, driver side, and we're about to see if it fits in first. But what I'm gonna do is I'm going to actually file the surfaces down that I kind of chipped the paint off of, brake clean it, and put a quick coat of probably black Rust-Oleum paint just to prevent, you know, future rust issues where I created the issues. So let's do that real quick and then see how the bushings fit. All right, so this is pretty much what I'm doing. Got a little filer here, and I'm kind of smooth out the surface here, where I kind of damaged the metal a little bit, but nothing enough to really worry about here. Like over here as well, that's kind of smooth it out, and then brake clean the surfaces, spray coat of paint real quick, let it dry, and then we're gonna test fit the bushings. Just did a quick little spray job. Here's a little overlook here. So yeah, just real quick, just to prevent some rust. Pretty much put it from the back. Basically, you put it like this, but coming from the other way, so this way, and then yeah, I guess you'll see when it's in there. But yep. Guys, I had to wait a day for new seals for the BRZ Diff that I screwed up and didn't even take a look at. So they came in from Toyota. I have the part number right here. And then I picked up a couple axles and some engine mounts since I'm there as well. Let me show you guys. These are some O'Reilly axles, import direct. They're the best I could do in short notice. They came next day. I've also got the O'Reilly engine mounts. They'll work in a jiff, no big deal. I can upgrade later. And then my seals are right here as well. There we go. So we're just gonna tap the new seals into the diff and get to installing the diff. So yep, long story on the OEM axles, but because how seized they were, I ended up mushrooming the spindles, and I couldn't find any taps for M26, or I'm sorry, dies for M26. So they're still good per se. They're not leaking or torn, so I'm gonna have them rebuilt as spares. But these come with lifetime warranty. I don't know how good they're gonna be, but ain't got no choice. So we're gonna get the diff seals in, then we're gonna get the diff in, the new bushings, and then go from there. All right, so got the new seals in place, and I'm gonna be using the old seal. What I did was pretty much use a little pry bar. Make sure you don't hit the metal underneath, because that'll screw up the sealable surface. But just make sure you pry bar onto the actual seal, pull it out very gently, and then I'm using the old seal to kind of help tap it in place. We're just gonna keep it nice and flush, and then we should be ready to put the axle stubs in, and then diff goes in. Plan is to put the diff on here. Don't forget the little top hats that come with your IS bolts or diff. I'm gonna be lifting it solo up there, and these joints go in there. Pretty much put it from the back. Let me see, I think the 2 is on the right, and then the 1 is on the left. Yeah, so basically you put it like this, but coming from the other way, so this way, and then yeah, I guess you'll see when it's in there. All right, guys, the Y38 is in. Like I said, it was such a pain. This is the one that stripped, and then the 2 back bolts, because of the poly or the urethane diff bushing, there was like no place. You have to get it just right. So I have to play with it. Lower this, raise that, or raise this, lower that. It was such a pain, but you'll get it. And then once you have the little top hat things for the top, don't forget the rubber little bushing for the bottom when you put it from the bottom. For the bolts up front, but that's about it. Torque specs wise, if I find them, I'll put them right here. But I pretty much just ugga these joints and sent it, so we should be good to go there. Otherwise, I think it's gonna be a pain to get the axles in, but we don't have any other choice because it was gonna be even harder to get the axles in first, I think. So pretty much got the diff mounted. We're gonna get the axles in now and go from there. Quick little side note, highly recommend you just get brand new OEM bolts for the axles. Here's the part number, and I ordered 15 total. I think it was like 45 bucks for everything. They're like $2 each or something like that with tax and everything. Maybe $2.60, something like that. But yeah, I ordered like 15 just in case I screw a couple up so it doesn't trip me up there. All right, guys, real quick, don't be a dum-dum like me. I completely forgot about these little retainer washer things that go every 2. Should have 3 per axle. Yeah, I was about to torque him. I'm like, wait a minute, I think I'm missing something. So don't forget these retainers and the torque spec according to the owner's manual or shop manual, whatever. 50 foot-pounds. I'm not sure if you're supposed to, but I ended up just doing a star pattern just because everything's, you know, it's kind of like a wheel. That's what I figure. So I did the top 2, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, and that's 50 foot-pounds. Cool. I'm ready to do the drive shaft and the exhaust. That should be it. All right, guys, looks like she's working so far. We'll see what road test drive is like, but both wheels spinning, baby. This is gonna be sick, and it's raining, so you know we can test it out.